Okay, so a rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction. Both the numerator and the denominator must be whole numbers. They can also be negative or positive. And how else can you represent a fraction? Represented by a decimal as well. Okay, so for example, 1 over 4, that's a rational number. What's 1 divided by 4? 0.25. Okay? It can also be represented by numbers that repeat. What is 2/3? What's 2 divided by 3? What's 2 divided by 3? 0.6 repeating. This is also a rational number. It can be a repeating decimal or not a repeating decimal. Okay, so we're going to take these rational numbers and we're going to express them as decimals. And we're going to see which rational numbers here represent the same number. Someone read me what this rational number says. Yep.
-2/3.
Right. -2 divided by what? +3. When we divide a negative and a positive, what's the result? Negative. So what is it? -0.6 repeating. Good. The second one, we have +2 divided by -3. What happens when you divide a positive by a negative? Negative. Did these represent the exact same answer? Yes. What does C, how would we read C? Yep. Right, it's -2 divided by 3. What does this negative symbol represent? It's kind of like what we did yesterday with powers. What does it tell us?
It's a negative.
Symbol tells me that this is a negative number. So I know that my answer is negative. -0.6 repeating. Okay, what if we do this? -2 divided by -3. What if I place the negative sign for both the numerator and denominator? What's going to happen? The result will be positive. Okay, so it doesn't actually matter if I place a negative where the numerator is or where the denominator is or in front of the entire fraction, as long as we only include one negative sign, because we know that our answer has to be negative. And if I put 2 negative signs, then my result's going to be positive, which is not the same number. This represents a different answer. Okay, so in the next example, we have a +3 divided by a -2. Result is -1.5. Good. Is E the same result? Negative? How do we know? There's 2 negatives. Good. 2 negatives make a positive. And the last one, if there's no symbol, we know it's positive. Good. Positive 1.5. So which 2 rational numbers were the same for the second part? E and F. Good. Put it that way. Okay, so we're trying to figure out if -1 3/10 is greater than or less than -1 2/5. So one strategy is to turn these both into improper fractions. Okay, and what do we get as an improper fraction? What's -1 3/10?
-1.
The negative sign tells us that this is a negative number. So to turn it into an improper fraction, 10 times 1
10.
plus 3, 13 over 10, but I know that this is a negative number, right? What is -1 2/5 as an improper fraction? 5 times 1 plus 2,
7.
and is it positive or negative? Good.
It's not a 10.
Oops, sorry, over 5. 7 over 5. Sorry about that. Oops. Okay, good. -7 over 5. Let's find the common denominator. What's the common denominator here? 10. So we're going to multiply this by 2, and we have -13 over 10 and -14 over 10. Now we can compare the two fractions because they have the same denominator. Okay, so we know that -13/10 will be closer to 0, which is greater. How else can we solve this besides improper fractions? Right, turn them into decimal numbers. What's -13 over 10 as a decimal? And -14 over 10? which number is closer to 0? Negative 1.3 is closer to 0, so it's greater.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.